Hi, my name is Jocelyn Elise. For all of you who follow my channel and do not know, today I'm going to talk about why I am doing this channel and exactly what happened to me and why I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I went through and how I went through it. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Now, for those of you who already know the story, please continue to scroll. There will be fresh content. Today is February 1st. There will be fresh content on February 2nd. And our topic will be Plan B. Yep, that's right, Plan B. Okay, as I digress, as I sit here having me a nice hot cup of tea. I love this time of day. I love how the sun just radiates, so I thought I'd catch a little bit of that. Okay. So let's talk about in the beginning, what happened to Yasmin. I was just a normal agent, working, doing what I felt like I needed to do to increase my business, working with my clients, and I had felt the need to start taking better care of myself. I'd had some setbacks, and I was not going to give up, and I decided I was just going to grab it by the balls and move forward. So that's what I did. So I began walking every morning. I go out 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's out 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's in my way. I don't have to worry about going around people or any of that. So it was a very comfortable walk. It was a good time for me to really spend some time with God and just kind of clear out my thoughts and think through my processes and decide which direction was I going to take right now. Well, one night I woke up in the middle of the night with a horrible pain in my leg, and it hurt so bad, and the only thing I can recollect it to was when I was younger and I used to try to run track and play soccer, and you had to do all the laps, doing band and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, gosh, I must not be stretching enough. I need to pay more attention, to the roads when I'm walking or what have you. So I just got up and I started stretching, and I felt like that was enough. Take some ibuprofen, go back to sleep. Well, time went along. That was not enough, and the pain got to be so bad I couldn't walk like I once did. So I felt the need to reach out to a physician and get myself checked out. So I did. Went to the doctor. They ran a lot of blood work. So we'll be in touch. We'll see what's going on. I got a phone call about, it had to be 8:30, 9 o'clock that night because power was still on. I was watching Power. And I got a phone call and they told me, we need you to come to the urgent care right away and we don't want you to drive. I was like, okay, well, what's going on? And they said, well, we think you might have a blood clot, but we're not sure, so we want to take every precaution. Okay, I'm good with that. I called, got somebody to take me to the urgent care, what have you. They ran some more tests and they were like, well, no, we don't think you have a blood clot. We think you need to go to oh gosh, I can't even think of the name, but it wasn't a vascular doctor at that time. Well, I went to this specialist and they told me I need to see a vascular doctor. Okay. Got to the vascular doctor and she ran some tests and she listened to my foot. I had never seen anybody listen to my foot. And I told her I had noticed some discoloration between my legs and I wasn't sure what was causing that. She didn't say anything right away. She just told me, let me run some tests. She ran some tests. I waited in the waiting room a good little while. She came back and she said, okay, this is where we are. You have a blood clot that has blocked you from your knee all the way to your foot. And we need to get you in for surgery as soon as we can get you on the schedule to be seen to have this surgery. And I was like, wow, a blood clot? She was like, well, really, you had an aneurysm. She says, it's like a stroke. And she told me that I was very lucky to be alive because it could have gone to my lungs, it could have gone to my heart, it could have gone to my brain. At that point, I was nervous, I was uncomfortable, but she told me that everything was going to be okay. She gave me some meds to take for the next couple of days, and she was going to go back out to talk to the nurses to get me on the schedule for surgery. So she came back and she told me my surgery would be March 27th. March 27th, I showed up. It wasn't the same doctor. I was freaking out because I was like, where is she? Where is she? She was like, no, she handles the office, you know, inpatients, and we do the surgeries over here. I was like, oh, Lord. So I didn't really know this doctor. So I was uncomfortable, and I asked him, I was like, how long have you been doing these type of surgeries? And he told me 17 years. I was like, okay, so you must know what you're doing. You've been in business that long. They did the surgery. Little did I know at that time that it was a very complicated surgery, and I was in intensive care for 3 days and didn't know it. They said my leg was open. It was a lot of blood. It was a lot of clots, and they just couldn't get it all out at one time because they couldn't keep me under that long. I did not know that day that I almost lost my life, and that was a lot to take in. You think about, you have time. You don't know how much time you have. You no clue how much time you really have. Well, that was surgery number 1. Had to go back in May for surgery number 2. Things just progressively got worse. They kept telling me, we gonna get you taken care of, Miss Elise, don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine. And I asked them at that time, am I going to lose my foot? I'm thinking I might lose some toes. So I was trying to process that in my mind. Okay, what is it gonna look like for me? Because for those of you who know me and are still watching this, you know I cannot stand to have shoes on. I can't take it. So in summertime, I live for that because I find the least amount of footwear I can to stick on my foot and keep walking. So I was trying to reconcile, okay, I won't have some toes. That's gonna look messed up. So I started looking on Google, and I saw where this lady had like this little sleeve, and it had like extra toes. And she would paint the little toes to make it look like the rest of her foot. I was like, okay, I'll be okay. Well, unfortunately, that particular surgery led to a septic infection. So I was back in the hospital again, now surgery number 4, because they did 2 the last time I was in there. I began to get unsettled. Oh, let me go back. I did not include when I was in rehab. You don't know how blessed you are until you know how blessed you are. I saw people in there who probably would never regain all of their faculties again. It was very surreal. And at the same time, it was very lonely. I cannot begin to express to you all, as I have said in many of my videos, please have your team around you. It's nice for people to come see you in the hospital. Don't get me wrong, I had people who came to see me. But it was something to have been said for somebody to sit there and hold your hand some days. and you just have nothing between you all but just that moment of just the unknown. You know, rehab is supposed to be a place for you to get better, but it's also a place for you to get real about where you actually are. The doctors could not figure out, and still have not, even though I have had the amputation now, they don't know why I had the aneurysm. They don't know. They may never know. I don't want someone else to go through this journey the way I went through mine. It was long, it was hard, and it was lonely. On the days that I had to get up, well, every day, if you're in rehab, you're going to physical therapy every day. Every day. I think one day they gave me grace because I was on so much medication for pain. I was just not even in this universe anymore. I was gone. I was just gone. I vaguely remember somebody coming in the room saying, "Miss Lisa, you ready?" And I couldn't even respond because I was so out of it. But it is a very lonely journey. You sit in that room day in, day out. Yes, you have the doctors that come around at but early 30 in the morning, asking you a bunch of questions. How do you feel? If I hear what is my pain level one more time, I think I am going to scream. I'm always in pain. That's just what it is. You do get to a point where it is managed better. And I am getting to that point where my pain is being managed better. But nevertheless, you know, depending on your surgery, always in pain. But I remember days when I was in the hospital and there was no one. It was just me and the nurses and the physical therapists and the occupational therapists and the doctors and the techs, you know, just trying to figure out, you know, what's the best pain route for me, what's the best remedy for me as far as rehabilitation, how long. It was a lot. Get your team in order. If you have to come up with a calendar, okay? You are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Believe it or not, it is really important for those doctors and nurses to see that you have family and friends or extended family that are checking on you on a consistent basis. It does. It changes things, trust me. And I'm gonna leave it right there. For me, I felt very empty. When we got down to having surgery number 7 through 9, 7 through 10, 7 through 9, I knew then that I was in trouble. I remember going in, they did 3 surgeries back to back. And one of the doctors said, "I don't think there's anything else we can do to help you but to amputate." I was praying and holding on to hope that he was wrong. I was holding on to hope that, no, he just didn't see it. He's a new doctor. He's a new surgeon. He doesn't know my history. He don't know what they told me. They told me I was gonna be okay. They told me I was gonna be okay. I wasn't okay. I wasn't okay. When the surgeon came in and he said, "I gotta talk to you." And he sat in a chair and I was sitting on the bed. He said, Miss Elise, we have done absolutely everything that we can for you to preserve your limb. He said, we have tried, as you know, cadaver arteries, synthetic grafts, everything. All of those efforts have failed. And the only thing that is left to get you better and to preserve some quality of life is amputation. I cried. I cried. He never said a word. But I cried and I cried and I cried. He said, you know, I can't. He said, you don't have to make a decision today, but you're not going to get any better with that limb still attached to your body. And I asked him, I was like, well, how much do you have to cut? And he showed me exactly where they would have, they had to cut me. And that just crushed me even harder because, as I told you, I'd already reconciled in my head, okay, I might lose some toes. Then we went from the toe to the foot. And I really couldn't see past the foot. I couldn't fathom me losing anything past the foot. But when he told me he had to take some of my leg, it broke me. That broke me. Not that losing my foot wouldn't change my life. Not that losing some toes wouldn't change my life. What I've learned in this journey is the balance. You'd be surprised how much having everything attached contributes to your balance. It hurt me so bad. And he just began to talk to me. He said, we have had very, very complicated surgeries with you. It has been an uphill battle since we started. And then that's when I found out all the dirty bits. It hurt. But I tell you what hurt the most. I was there alone. I was there alone. In that moment, I was alone. There was no one there with me. There was no one there to hold my hand and say, it's gonna be okay. We can do this. I'm here for you. There was no one there. But that does not have to be you. The other night I talked about the 3 P's of expectancy. Being positive, being prepared, and being productive. Please prepare. If you are having vascular surgeries, prepare. Have very honest conversations with your surgeon and your doctors. What is the worst outcome for me? How soon do you think we need to get this done? How long do you feel my recovery time is? And really, they can't tell you that because every surgery is different. I still spaz out to this day when I look at TikTok and I see all these people just hopping around, just on one leg, just bankhead bouncing, just really just doing it. And I talk to my doctors, I'm like, well, why I can't do that? And they constantly tell me, Miss Elise, you had very difficult surgeries. Look at your leg, look at your thigh, look at the work that we did. We wouldn't expect for you to be doing all of that at this point. It's gonna take you a little bit longer to recover. So that's my biggest thing right now, just having grace with myself in the healing process. So me talking to you is part of my healing process, because I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through and how I went through it. Excuse me while I get me a little sip of tea. Yes, absolutely gorgeous. It's important to have your team together. It's important to know what your resources are before you need them. Assess your living arrangement. Consider if you are in a wheelchair for any extended period of time, can I manage in this house? In a wheelchair? Is the bathroom big enough? Is my room big enough? Will I be able to make up my bed? Will I be able to clean up my room? Will I be able to cook? Will I be able to get out of the house? I didn't assess those things early, but then again, I didn't know. I didn't know that I would eventually lose my leg, because they kept telling me, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But then again, there's something to be said, and you're going to be fine. What does that look like? I'm going to be fine. So at this point in my life, I'm having to work backwards. I'm really not able to stay where I am much longer, because it's just taking too much for me to get around. I need to be able to get in and out of the house. I couldn't even go sit on the porch right now if I wanted to, because the house is not set up like that for me, and won't be. And that's fine. That was never part of the deal. So I'm asking you, prepare. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Assess your current living situation. If you need to move, get a short-term lease for 6 months. They do them 3 months, 6 months. Trust me, they need tenants. They will work with you just long enough so you can get really back on your feet, because where you live and how you live is key to your healing. You want to heal. And when I say you want to heal, I mean you want to heal from the inside out. You want to be able to feel that you have as much independence as possible. You don't want to be dependent on anyone. If you can help it. It's nice to have family around. It's nice to have friends around. But when they aren't, what do you do? Can you wash clothes? If you hear my washing machine right now, I'm so sorry. Had to do laundry today. But that's, it's a challenge. Can I get the clothes out of the washing machine? I know it sounds really, really simple. But when you don't have that full balance, I've fallen 3 times since I've been amputated. 3. This last fall hurt me really bad coming back into the house, because again, house is not set up that way. It's not gonna be. That's what it is. It's up to me to change that now. I'm having to try to work backwards and get into somewhere that is set up that way for me. I don't want you to have to go through that. It's a hurting feeling. It's enough just to look down and you're missing an arm, a leg, toes, whatever your situation may be, whatever you might be going through right now, whatever transition life has brought you to at this point. It's hard. And yeah, I still have bad days. I can't tell you that enough. I'm fighting to work through those days. I have my faith. I have good extended family. And I love them and I thank them so much. I cannot begin to name them all. But there are times when I am alone. I don't want you to have to go through what I've gone through and how I've gone through it. Have those resources readily available. Get you a good therapist. I know there's a lot of stigma behind talking to a therapist, but trust me when I tell you, it will do you a lot of good. Because it has done me a lot of good. Just to be able to bear what I'm feeling and not be judged for it. It has made a difference. It has really made a difference. And I'll continue to be in therapy. I'll be transparent with you. I mean, I'm here today, very transparent with you. It's just a regular Saturday. Yasleen has on no makeup, no foundation, no eyeshadow. I don't even have on lip gloss today. This is just Yasleen in the raw, being real with you, helping you to understand why I am doing this channel. Because see, I didn't have these resources. I didn't have a channel to turn to. And no one could recommend. Isn't that amazing? Of all the resources they give you, they don't give you anything to recommend how to get through every day. No, they didn't. There was nothing there. So I hope this channel helps you to get through your transition. And I will be posting resources as they are made available to me. One thing I do want you all to do right now, whether you are going through transition or not, there is some legislation from the new administration to remove handicap ramps, handicap parking. Reach out to your congressman and flood those emails and voicemails. They need to know this is unacceptable. We have rights, and we want those rights to be protected. That'll be all for now. Please continue to follow me on this journey. I am still working on a workbook for you. Please give me some grace on that. But I hope to have it ready by the end of February, if not before. And you'll be able to enjoy that. And I'm hoping the things that are in that book will be able to comfort you in your time of need, as well as help you get through your transition. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday nights on this channel on the Amputee Zone as we get through life living in full expectancy. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.